Welcome to Estimates,
Welcome back to Estimates.
the show about
the census.
The numbers behind the numbers,
That's
the
right,
official
that's
booster
right.
show of the U.S. Census.
That's exactly right. And we're out in the field today. You might hear the traffic behind us because we're on the trail, the census trail.
That's right. We're counting down.
We're camped out in front of the first building we're going to census take.
You know, the real pros have been at it since last year.
That's
but
right. That's right.
I say that we're purists. We're purists. We only start with the new year because it's new numbers, new year. So we got some good big activities. You were saying, what did you have for lunch today, Mavi?
What I have for lunch, I had a bacon, egg, and cheese on a...
Don't tell me that. How many calories did you have for lunch?
Oh, boy, the numbers behind the numbers.
Because our fans, they want to hear that.
Well, if I were to estimate, I would say it was like I would guess it's like 1,000-calorie sandwich that I had. It's just a guess.
Guesstimate.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you sure you should be having...
It was on a hero, not a roll.
Oh.
Yeah, unlike a regular bacon, egg, and cheese.
I was thinking just now, before we got started, where my interest in the census came from. Maybe you can remember yours as well, but I realized that Sophie, my girlfriend, and I, we play a game with each other much like this, where we count... or we try to quiz each other on the calories and the numbers on serving sizes.
I gotta say, I don't know the first thing about a calorie. I threw out 1,000 because, it was one meal. It was a large sandwich.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
what percent of sodium was it of your daily intake?
Why would I know that?
Well, if you start to get the numbers behind the numbers, then you can count other people's calories better. Okay, so do you want to start or should I?
Let's start with yours. I want to spend some time on it.
Okay, all right, here we go. 10 minutes, you're on the clock. Give me a location.
Calgary.
Okay.
That's a bad choice. I don't know the first thing about Calgary.
And that's not even in the U.S. Census. It's like we're giving these away.
Oh, boy. Oh, I've really made this difficult for myself.
Okay. Are you going to stick with it?
I have to. I said it. I'm sticking
it's
with
true.
it. That's how we roll here at the Census Bureau.
That's funny because I have been to Calgary.
Okay.
But I was in Calgary for the last census.
Oh, all right.
In
Lots
2010.
changed since then.
Yeah, you better. Yeah. They got two big towers now. So, how many people?
I gotta say, I don't even know which coast Calgary is on.
West Coast, Best Coast.
That was my guess.
Yeah. Because we flew into California, Vancouver, then went to Calgary.
Okay.
Now, fun fact about Calgary: that is where the famous desert dinosaurs are, or the tar sand dinosaurs of Canada are.
Oh, okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. Do you
Yeah.
know what kinds of dinos they found in those tar pits?
They got rhino dinos. They got T-Rex dinos. They got Apatosaurus or something like that.
All right,
They got all sorts. They got all sizes. But it's like a good 2-hour drive or more outside the major Calgary metropolitan area.
Right.
So it's a lot of
the
dead
dinosaurs
bugs.
are country folk.
I would estimate that we killed about 250 bugs.
Good estimate.
Each way. One way.
Right.
Okay, so in Calgary, major metropolitan area of Calgary, not obviously not including the tar sands. How many people own toe shoes?
Oh boy, how many toe shoes? Toe shoes being not just any sandal, but shoes where your toes fully fit in.
Right, you fit into the toes.
Right.
It's a shoe, not a sandal.
Oh boy. Okay, so my first task is to figure out a fair estimate for the population of Calgary because I have nothing to go off of here.
Well, it's in Canada.
Obviously, it's not a major city.
Okay, so it's in Canada, which means it's less than 100 million people.
Fair point.
And the West Coast has less people than the East Coast.
That's true.
Right? It's less than Toronto because Toronto's the biggest city.
Toronto.
And Toronto has like 6 million people, so it's less than 6 million people.
All right. So if we started at a guess of 1 million, that's pretty low, but also might not be too low. You know what I mean?
It's funny that I'm trying to look this up, and Calgary I keep spelling out population, and Google search is like never seen someone.
Calgary? What?
Okay. All right.
All right.
Vancouver. I'm gonna give you some hints.
Okay.
Vancouver has 675,000 people. Do you have a guess for Calgary yet?
Vancouver has 675,000?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty small.
All right. Edmonton
Okay.
has 980,000 people.
Edmonton, wait, really?
Mm-hmm. Major metropolitan area, of course. And 2017.
I didn't know Edmonton was much bigger than Vancouver.
And what I'll tell you is that the trend line is similar. They've all been gradually going up, these three western cities.
Oh, boy.
The Great American West, as we call it.
My guess would be that Calgary is less populated than either of those two. I'm just gonna stick it at 500K.
Okay.
Stick it there and call me Peter.
Do you want me to tell you, or want to just keep going with your math?
I gotta keep going. If you tell me, what are we even doing here? You know
I'm not Googling population of Calgary with toe shoes, so
that's true. All right, we'll stick at 500K. Now we got to think on this toe shoe issue.
Toe shoe.
What percentage of people have toe shoes, and should our estimate change for Calgary? Is Calgary more toe shoes per capita or fewer? Obviously a cold climate, but probably not too cold. Still a Pacific Coast type of climate, but generally cold, I would imagine. I think people probably don't want toe shoes in such a climate for regular wear, but you're still going to have your weirdos who think that toe shoes are great for mountaineering or running or whatever.
There's a base number of weirdos in every city that have toe shoes.
Right, exactly.
What would you put that percentage as? 0.5%?
That's a great question. I think 0.5% is pushing it. I don't think 1 out of every 200 people have toe shoes.
Let me ask
That's
you.
a lot.
Wait, really? So, because I feel like 1 out of every 200 people that I know, there's like, of like close people, there's like one guy who's like, this is where humans were meant to run. Like, I feel like out of all the 200 people I know, there's someone who either tells me that straight
maybe
out.
speaks more to the people you know.
Yeah, that's
Maybe,
true.
yeah.
But I mean, Calgary's a cool city.
Um,
They'll call it Coolgary for nothing.
Cool city. We got someone in our peanut gallery here raising their hand. I think it means they own toe shoes. That's my guess.
Okay.
As to what that means. So if we were to take a survey out of this room, that's 20%.
So that is what?
Too high.
100
okay, so
times.
I do think 1 out of 200 is far too high, but 1 out of 1,000 might not be.
Okay. So then only 500 people, according to you, are diehard toe shoers in Calgary. So I guess that makes sense. Right. If there's a meetup of bare feet runners or people who like the bare feet lifestyle.
Yeah.
In Calgary, you'd have less than 500 people who would ever do that.
And by the way, while we here at the Census Podcast don't support toe shoes, we do support the Barefoot is Legal movement.
Yeah, free the foot. That's what I always say.
Exactly. All right, so that puts me at 500.
Base. That's your base. That doesn't include all the people that get it as gifts, get it on a lark, people who are like told by their podiatrist to try something new.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you don't like a toe shoe, are you keeping it? No, that's a lifestyle choice. You got to own it or kick it to the curb.
Well, okay. So what I'm saying is, like, in a given year, like, you think people who get toe shoes and realize they're not for them immediately throw them out? I think they give about a year. All
right, fair enough. There'll be a little buffer of people trying out 500 regular toe shoers, and then a little buffer of some people trying it out. Honestly, when you put it that way, I would say that the number of people trying it out would be higher than the number of diehards.
Okay.
Because I don't know how many of these people are really nuts enough to go all in on the toe shoe lifestyle.
Well, we have at least one friend. We have a mutual friend who is a toe shoer.
Yeah, I think he might be sitting right behind you, Jay.
Yeah, I know. And I have another friend who's more of a proud toe shoer.
I see. So listen, I don't think I'm going to modify my 500. I think that 500 is shifting every year. It's for sure not the same 500 year in and year out.
So you think that 500 includes both base people and their like compatriots who are experimental toe shoers.
All right, you've talked me into it. I'm upping it to 1,000. No,
Yeah,
1,000 is too high. 1,000 is too high.
That's
Split the difference. 750 final offer.
1,000. Okay, wait. So 1,000 is 0.25% of Calgary's population has toe shoes. That seems low because, like, in New York,
No way.
In New York, what percent of people do you think have toe shoes in their closet?
Well, New York is tough. We got a lot of weekend warrior types who have closets full of
Okay, in Pennsylvania, how many people do you think? Or New York State, whatever you want.
Yeah, New York State. I mean, again, New York State is.
It's got a lot of weirdos. You got Ithaca, a lot of toe shoe runners there.
Yeah, I would think that a high percentage of Ithacans, Ithacoers.
Cans.
Yeah, they're running around their gorgeous in their toe shoes. I would imagine feeling the wind.
Okay, so we got to start moving along. You're putting in 750.
I'm locking in 750.
Okay,
I'm using all my census taking intuition.
Fascinating.
I'm spending it.
Well, what if I told you?
Okay, tell me.
You might not just be underrating the population of toe shoers, but you're also underrating
population of Calgary. Okay, very
which
interesting.
Is almost triple what you thought. Do you want to keep your same answer?
Well, for the in the sense of the integrity of the podcast, I'm keeping 750. But with that new information, I guess I'll triple my number, putting us at 2250.
Wow.
Toe shooters.
Okay, so in a million people, I'm gonna say that there's going to be a base of 0.5% of people who are toe shoe lovers or toe shoe.
I think you're just pushing your toe shoe agenda. Is really what's going on.
No, I hate toe shoes.
I don't think you do.
But
you might be saying that for the peer pressure because I've gone kind of heavily on them. But
listeners, I'm going to talk directly to you. If you live in the United States or North America, if you live like I do. You know that someone who has toe shoes and is proud of it or secretly proud of it. And you probably know about 1 to 200 people. So therefore, 1 to 0.5% of people you know are definitely toe shoers. Now, imagine that, and there's probably one more person who also owns toe shoes, whether they like it or not. So I'm going to say about 1% of people in Calgary own toe shoes. I think this is pretty steady anywhere. So I'm going to put it in at 1%, about 13,000 toe shoers in Calgary.
13,000. All right, a big difference between us.
Mm-hmm. I'm locking it in.
All right, locked in. So any shoe salesmen in the Western Canada area, please call in, write in.
Well, I think these are also, you have to account for shoe salespeople and alternative shoe salespeople.
I think those are shoe salespeople. I
don't know. I think you're putting them together. All right, Mavi, we locked it in. It's between a range of 2250 and 13,000 shoe salespeople.
You know what? I'm revising it. I think everyone in Calgary is wearing toe shoes.
But you don't know how to
got dress toe shoes.
But you thought
they've got working out toe shoes. They've got around the house toe shoes.
I do think that Calgary is a weirder city than you're giving it credit for.
Could be. It could be. I don't know much about Calgary, as we've established.
I think it's known as the weird Vancouver. So on the West Coast, or the normal Edmonton, for those of you playing at home.
They call Calgary weird Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, my Calgary. Okay. What's your question?
All right, I got one for you today, Joey. All right, here's your cut point. All right, I've got one for you, Joey. But as per usual, I'm going to need you to name a place. But now, as a capitulation to your previous complaints, I'm also going to ask you for a time period, so now you won't be mad when I say throughout history.
Okay, place, Ithaca.
A place, Ithaca, New York.
Time.
Ithaca, New York, or Ithaca, Greece?
Ancient Ithaca, Greece. No. That could really mess with
you.
How many cars
Ithaca
are in
Avenue,
Ithaca?
Brooklyn?
No.
Ithaca,
New York.
All right.
Yeah, present day.
It's gorgeous there.
Well, not right now.
Ithaca's gorgeous.
The gorges they migrate south for the winter.
All right, Ithaca, and I need what'd you say for it? Did you say a time?
Present day.
Okay, that's great, but like a range, like minimum today, maximum, whatever your maximum is.
Okay, you know what I'm gonna say, because
you
we're
can say the 1800s. You can say whatever you want.
we're gonna measure because the census obviously is a year-round, 24/7 organization. We're going the New Year's Ball in the famous Ithaca New Year's Ball drops. So January 1st, 1201 to December 31st.
Okay, the full previous year you're saying?
No, the full current year.
I'm okay. It's a projection.
Yeah,
All right, listeners, do not call in. We're waiting until we have all the facts. Okay, here's the question: how many sets of keys are going to be lost in Ithaca, New York, this calendar year?
Okay. Let's work our way through this. I have 1 minute on the clock.
That's right.
So Ithaca has more people than Binghamton.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say 40,001 people. And I think
unlike Binghamton, they have two major colleges there: Cornell and, of course, Ithaca College.
Right. So that accounts for the extra person. So because the president of Ithaca College.
Right,
so yeah, I'm gonna say there's 50,001 people. Two colleges. You're right. Okay, I would think every person loses their keys every year, because I would think that I lose my keys every year and you lose your keys every year.
I probably lose my keys more than once. Although, actually, no, not recently. But in general, throughout my life, I've lost my keys more than once a year.
A lot of people lose their keys.
What does it mean to lose one's keys?
That you never get it back.
Never get it back, and that happens to both of you once a year?
All right. Well,
I don't think that you're the regular, that you're every single person.
All right, we got the voice of God over here telling us that. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Do regular people lose their keys more often, less often?
Well, here's what I was going to say. I think I'm taking that time back from that God took from me. I think that I'm a normal person in some ways. And I think that I lose my keys every year. But I've actually looked back on this, and I don't lose my keys every year. I don't know if I've lost the keys to my house that I moved into 3 years ago once in the past 2 years.
Me neither, to be honest.
So I think the average person is actually not losing their keys a lot.
Okay.
I think that you have people with like pets losing their keys more. Especially dog walkers losing their keys more. I think you have students losing their keys more. Their key cards.
Right.
So if we count for about 20,000 students, those are clumsy students. I could see a number of them, especially oh man, if you think about the freshmen versus the seniors.
Yeah. Well, another thing you have to account for is that unlike our lives, city bound. These people are, living their lives in and out of cars. They're not walking around. They're not taking the train around. It really eliminates a lot of potential for losing keys.
They put them on the roof of their car, like coffee, and they drive off with them.
Yeah, but they've never left it on the subway. They've never left it, waiting for the subway.
I think that I'm really stuck on
two options.
Okay, all right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say I'm going to go through all the ages of college students. I'm going to go through adults.
Right.
I'm not going to include kids.
Start with the most precocious college students at 12 years old.
Okay. The geniuses never lose their keys.
All right, yeah.
Or lose their keys more often. So I'm going to say that there's 5 boy geniuses, girl geniuses losing their keys.
5 in Ithaca?
5 in
Ithaca. That's a lot of 12-years.
It's Cornell. It's the Ivy Leagues.
Okay, all right.
Moving right along.
Fair point, actually.
They can't get into Princeton, but they can get into Cornell early. So that's sub-18, sub-freshman. Freshman. Every freshman loses their keys once. Some people lose it twice. Some people never lose it, but an average of once. So that's 8,000 lost keys.
What's the dorm situation like in Ithaca?
Co-ed.
Okay, but maybe they get in with key cards. Does that change?
Yeah, those are still keys.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So 8,005.
What about passwords? Does it count if you forget a password?
This is my time.
Club? You're trying
to. That's not a key. That's a password. That's a pass key.
It's a key code.
That's a
pass key sounds like
no physical key.
Okay.
I'm the captain now. Okay.
Okay.
So 8,005 sophomores. Every other person loses their key once, so that's 4,000. Juniors and seniors, you have irresponsible juniors who are maybe still going to drop out or leave. So I'm going to put that at 2,000. Seniors 1,000. So it's dividing each time. Okay, so
okay.
That's 16,000 lost keys this year. Okay, you didn't include car keys. I'm not going to.
Well,
those
no,
are
I
on your...
said sets of keys, my friend.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So then, all the adults. There's about 30,000 adults, non-babies in this town.
All right, non-baby adults, neither children nor baby adults.
Okay. So, because they see how much. Well, this is tough because they see how much key losing is going on among the student population. Does that encourage them, much like when you see someone yawn, you yawn? Or does that encourage them to be more vigilant? I think this is a tough one. But I think about half of people lose their keys because you have to include dog walkers, you have to include the elderly, you have to include people that have all sorts of reasons to lose their keys once or so per year. Many people don't, but many people also lose them twice. Like they put them on top of the car when they're putting their coffee on top of the car. Car keys get lost. People upstate have more keys to lose. And I'm also going to factor in, we go back to babies. Babies also have fake keys. So they're losing sets of keys too. They're alarming rate.
Wow, great
So,
point.
15,000 non-students and 16,005 normal students. In Ithaca, a population of about 50,000 people, 31,005 keys are lost per
Wow, that's pretty good. Let me add one complication. Have you considered keys that are no longer relevant to one's lives? You know, everyone's got a bowl of keys at home that are previous apartments found.
It can't be lost if no one cares about them.
Is that true, though?
So you're saying that we not only have to ask a Ithaca locksmith, but we also have to ask a philosopher about what is...
we need to ask the Ithaca chair of philosophy, the locksmith, convicts picking up trash by the side of the road, whoever would be knowledgeable about lost keys, couch cleaners.
Wow. I have big news, but I'll let you... Do you want to know the news before or after you give your estimate?
Oh, I haven't been thinking of an estimate at all. Let's hear that news.
Here we go. Ithaca, when you search its population.
Yeah.
This is kind of uncanny.
All right. Oh, you got it in one?
Okay.
Or it's
okay.
The same as
Ithaca's
Calgary?
population since the 1990s has stayed remarkably. It's bigger than Calgary. Got two colleges. Calgary only got one.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know that's true. Okay. Ithaca's population has stayed remarkably flat.
Okay.
Binghamton's has decreased since the 90s, since IBM famously left.
Okay. Famous.
Do you want... Yeah. Do you want to guess their populations?
The various populations?
The current or 2017 population of
All
Binghamton.
right. You seemed confident that Binghamton was, 30 or 40,000? So I'm going to go with your gut here and say, I don't remember whether you said 30 or 40. Let's say 40. Was it 40,000?
It's 45,000 people in Binghamton.
45,000 people in Binghamton.
But it's been trending down since the 90s.
Okay.
A uptick when I went to school at Binghamton and then flatlined again.
Let's say Ithaca is 70,000. I don't know.
Okay. Binghamton, 45,000. It's been declining. Ithaca, remarkably flat. Basically nothing has changed in Ithaca.
Okay.
Do you remember my number
no
of...
deaths, no births?
Remember my number of...
Just 150,000 people in cocoons.
Yep. You remember odd people. You remember my number for...
No, I don't. What was your number?
My number of
30-something?
My number of people that lost their keys.
No, number of keys lost.
Keys, right, yeah. Oh, okay. Number of keys lost. 31,000.
Okay, is that the population of Ithaca?
And 5.
Okay.
The population of Ithaca is 31,006 people.
Is that true? That's incredible. Well, that's just a testament to our census powers.
So everyone in Ithaca loses their keys once.
You were transferred from Ithaca, weren't you?
No. I lost my keys one too many times. Yeah, so according to my calculations, everyone at Ithaca loses their keys once, except for one person,
One
the
precocious
mayor.
12-year-old. Oh.
Because if he lost his key, they wouldn't know what to do with the master key.
Shut down. No
All
one
right,
would
so
know
what do
where
you
they
think the
lived
number is
anymore.
then, according to...
Oh, boy. Now that we know that. Well, you got to ask yourselves. I have no fucking clue. In my life, you're right. I haven't lost my keys once since I moved to my current location 3 years ago, or however many years ago it is. But in my life, I've lost my keys very frequently before that. But I've never lived a life outside of the city where your pockets aren't constantly pointing down at a train car you'll never see again.
That's
You know
beautiful.
what I mean? I'm gonna say that 500 sets of keys are lost in a calendar year.
Holy
And
shit.
I'm gonna say people are pretty responsible. I have no idea really.
2 colleges there? All right, that's estimates. Check us out where our range rather was 500 to 31,005.
Yeah, exactly.
So check us out online on the web at Google Play, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast.
And please
iTunes.
call in if you live in Ithaca and have not lost your keys yet.
Yeah.
And, keep checking in with us week in and week out.
But pastacast at estimates.com. Estimates at estimatespodcast at gmail.com.
Hotmail.
We'd much rather you give us your answers than give us your reviews. But if you give a review, Mavi will thank you. Hey, that's all.
All right.